Where else?
My mum fostered that through us as well. She was chief bottle washer. She'd have jerseys upon jerseys out in the line.
3 of my offspring are married, and they met their better halves through the club.
The friends and relationships I got out of it. Looking back, that was really what the GA was about. Community, about building relationships with people. My name is Mick Galvin.
My name is Mary Galvin.
My name is Phil Galvin, and my family roots are in St. Bridget's GAA Club.
Stay City Apart Hotels. Half apartment, half hotel. Warm beds, comfy sofas, and fully equipped kitchens. We offer guests more, so you can do more. Cook, sleep, work, play. Welcoming, accommodating, and big beds for jumping. Smart travellers choose Stay City because Stay City is the smart choice. Stay City, half apartment, half hotel, all across Europe. Save 10% every time you book at staycity.com.
Welcome back for the second half of Raheny against Fianna in the Dublin Senior Football Championship. A couple of changes being made by Raheny. Killian McGurk and Paddy Reid, I think, coming in. They will hope to get something out of them. Thomas Hurley also in for Raheny. The changes aren't announced here, and we actually don't have time to run over and get them. / are both too old and lazy. I always say if you see players wearing different numbers, then you'll know a change has been made. But you spotted it, Coleman. What do they need to get from these players?
They just need to up the ante, and they need to add a bit of pace into what they're trying to do and really get at Fianna from an attacking point of view. When they get forward, they definitely have some opportunity to get scores, maybe just a little bit slow at times.
Thomas Hurley, one of the new men in, getting onto it straight away. Fenton. Look at the way he directed traffic with one hand holding the ball. Here's Howard. Howard puts it over. That's his first of the game and a bright start to the second half for Raheny.
Yeah, good score. It was shown the way by... gone in to speak to the umpires inside there. Maybe they're unsure about the score, but certainly waved the flag.
Looked good to me.
Yeah, maybe they're looking to speak to somebody. It was a good start. Again, Brian Fenton, Brian Howard looking to try and create something, get the ball in, take it on, try and get a few scores, and Howard certainly did that there.
He's speaking there to Talty and to Doran.
Yeah, it was a little bit of this in the first half that he seemed to let run, but he's obviously had enough for it at this stage. So he's going to probably pop 2 yellow cards here, 1 apiece. Now kick off again. Good start for Raheny. They just really need to try and see if they can squeeze a kick out or turn over a little bit of ball, try and build a bit of momentum and get a couple of scores. I don't know if did he wave cards there, or did he just stick the names in the book?
O'D. Rafter. Jogging onto that is Potts. Goes back to Rafter. O'D. O'D tackled by Reid. Goes to ground. Hurley, I beg your pardon. And it's a free in. Fenton.
Yeah, I think O'D can find himself a bit unfortunate there. Looked like he was fouled when he went to ground.
Paddy Reid. McWeeny. Howard. Fenton. Howard continued his run. Hurley. Pops it inside, and popping up as McLaughlin. Goes back to the full forward, Grenham. Grenham moves it off to Rutherson Reel. Rutherson Reel is fouled. It's a free in. It is a very good start by Raheny, or certainly a very positive start by Raheny.
Yeah, so much more pace in what they're trying to do there. There's guys attacking the ball, they're moving forward. You know, it's going to be hard to keep it going for 30 minutes, but at least there's more go forward momentum in it. I think they've got a couple of soft frees there from the referee. One in terms of the foul on Owen O'D that I thought was there, that was then done for picking it or touching it on the ground. And even that move with Rutherford and Real kind of reminded the tackle that was on Owen O'D. So they've got a little bit of a bounce, building a little bit of momentum. See if they can put a bit of more of a squeeze on and keep that pace up that puts Nafeen under pressure.
The first 2 scores of the second half have gone Raheny's way. Still work to do, but a bright start nonetheless. On a beautiful sunny evening. It's very, very warm out there. Donal Ryan. Nafina go long, go direct. The bounce could be awkward here. It breaks kindly for Nafina. O'Leary. And O'Leary puts it over.
Yeah, a bit of a misread just on the ball there as a bounce. I think maybe as part of the jump to try and knock the ball down, Conor McHugh probably picked up a knock, probably dead leg territory. There was a high hanging ball after the bounce there. He jumped to tap it down. He probably just got a knock on the leg that might be just giving him a little bit of a problem. But again, look at the difference in, you know, one hoofed ball inside suddenly turns into a scoring opportunity given the potential they have up front. So suddenly that bit of momentum that Raheny have is fractured again because of the ease in which Nafeen are able to get that score.
Does look like a dead leg, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was just as he went up to jump that the Raheny defender came across. He probably picked up a knock. I don't think it's too serious, but probably serious enough, obviously, for him to leave the field here, potentially be replaced.
McElwaney. Ivory getting involved. Howard pops it forward. Driving on Ben McHugh. McNamara in space. Gives it back to Talty. Talty winds up and has a go. This is going to drop, but I don't think there's anyone in maroon to attack it. Someone is arriving very quickly. Keeper misjudges it. It's a volleyball style fist, but it breaks back kindly for Sean Grenham, and Grenham puts it over.
Yeah, a bit of a flash there from David O'Hanlon when the ball dropped there. I think he totally misjudged it, spun off, and they were hoping to get a break off it. Managed to pick it up, and Grenham pops it over the bar. But again, just goes to show when there's a bit of, you know, go forward momentum, there's opportunity for both teams here.
Another direct one by Nafina. Doesn't quite work out this time. Howard. McNamara. Fenton. McNamara watching on as Talty carries. Talty. Reid. Talty. Talty gets it back. Talty. Howard. Good ball by Howard. Well taken by Reid. Nafina break it. Can they get it under control? Referee allows play to continue, and Nafina make the break, and they're sprinting forward in their numbers. They're looking for McHugh and finding him. McHugh gives it off to Byrne. Byrne has spotted the run inside of Sean Caffrey. Caffrey. Looked like he took too many steps anyway, but it was a good tackle to knock the ball out of his grasp.
Oh, what a missed opportunity. Great ball across, clean through on goal. Decided to step left when maybe just should have pulled the trigger on the right foot. Maybe there was a bit of contact and he was looking for a potential penalty kick, but I think the chance was there before him. Just left it behind him. A little bit of a bite emerging into the game as well, but what a big goal scoring opportunity. Just unfortunately left behind from Caffrey. Spots the run, spins it across to him. Brian Fenton is chasing behind. I think you've got to pull the trigger there. Yeah, I don't think there's any penalty. I think he probably overcarried it in the end. Chance lost, but again, great pace in terms of the movement to get out. So there's opportunity again when they move the ball at pace, but Raheny be delighted to have prevented a goal chance and give themselves an opportunity to narrow the gap once more.
Fenton doing it in attack and defence so far this evening. His beloved Shelbourne playing tomorrow against Sligo Rovers in Sligo. It drops in. It's in. Grenham got his hand on it and guided it in. Now there's a bit of a debate as to whether or not it will count.
I think the referee's pointing for... I thought he was pointing at the flag to be waved there, but again, yeah, great opportunity he is. He's going to give that
the goal
award a goal.
counts. Grenham gets it. It's a big, big goal. Let's have another look at that.
And he's hovering in around the square. Yeah, look, no real control when the ball came in. He definitely started inside, but there's no real control or anyone taking ownership if it drops in. And a 7-point gap at half time, suddenly down to 3. Great response from Raheny.
It wasn't the most beautiful goal of all time, but Grenham just threw himself at that one. And he got enough on it, had the desired effect. It kind of broke off him more than him fisting it or palming it. I'm not even sure how exactly he guided it in, but he did guide it in, and that's the important thing from the Raheny point of view. Here's Talty. Under control is Lunny. Lunny gives it off to Grenham. Grenham. Wide.
Pity, what a great start to the second half from Raheny. Really answered the questions that were posed them at half time. Had gone in with lacking a bit of aggression, lacking a bit of pace up front. Have come out second half, reformed, totally new in terms of their approach, and have narrowed the gap down, as we said. Unlucky from Grenham there, should have probably tagged that one on, would have brought it back to 2. Now it's Fiona's chance to slow things down or speed things up maybe and try and create a scoring opportunity.
Potts. Byrne. Rafter carried. Surging through is Doran. Doran outside. McHugh is the intended target. McHugh gets it under control. McHugh does the right thing and just fists it over.
Yeah, important score. He obviously went off with a bit of a knock. Has come back in there. Fisted over the bar. Substitution to be made by Fianna, but a good response. They've come under a little bit of pressure at the start of this second half. Couple of points keeps them just in front.
I think it's O'Leary who's going off. It is O'Leary who's going off. And after coming in is Kieran Redden. Not a bad sub to be able to bring in, is it?
Not a bad sub at all. Pace, power, well able to kick a score.
Ivory. Howard. Presents it out in front. It's well taken. Back to Howard. Howard looking to skin his man on the outside. Howard. Hendrick. Broken away from Hendrick. Good defending by Potts. Rafter. Rafter up against Reid. Rafter into the corner looking for McHugh, who's shaking off whatever injury he had. McHugh. 3 around him, but he remains calm. A probing ball inside. It breaks kindly for Fianna. Sean Caffrey. Wide. He was unlucky.
Yeah, gone a little bit tame again. It'll be interesting, maybe to have a look at that goal again. I'm not sure that, there shouldn't have been a square ball awarded. It looked like maybe they were in before anything was taken, but, it's given and it's moved on, I suppose, from here. But again, the opportunity it's given Raheny because of the better start to the second half. They're within the game again now.
Fianna against Skerry's Harps to come. Sorry, Kilmacud Crooks against Skerry's Harps to come at 8:30. Obviously, these are group games, so there is no extra time or anything like that. McElweeney follows the ball. Fianna just bunch around, they break it, but then they can't get it under control. Alan McLaughlin looking for McElweeney. Advantage being played by the ref, so it is a free in.
Yeah, he was probably unlucky on one or two occasions there. He certainly got hit maybe after the Johnny Cooper initial tackle. There was probably a free before the referee awarded an advantage. So well deserved, or well hard earned maybe, in terms of a chance at the goals. Gavin Ivory's loitering around the middle of the field here. He might get the nod to come up and have a cut off this.
Up he comes. And every time there's a stoppage, water bottles being fired onto the pitch. Well, it goes short to Brian Howard. We'll have to go again.
I think we heard him there. He said, "I told you on the whistle there." So I think a quite clear instruction. Interesting to see James Dorn has left the field as well there.
What's the point of bringing a goalkeeper up and then going short? Here's Talty. That's a question rather than a statement. We might come back to it. Fenton. O'Hanlon got under it and guided it to his teammate. I think that might have been O'D who was waiting for it. Either way, good defending.
Yeah, I think, again, to just demonstrate, to mention the breeze as it went up into the air, just held up because of the breeze there, gave O'Hanlon a chance to come out. A little bit of afters going on in front of the goal there on the back of it. Just Fianna breaking out with it now. Can Raheny put a stop on the move?
Tom Brennan is on for Fianna. Probing ball into the corner. Well taken. Intercepted by McHugh. A vital intervention. There was a collision off the ball. Referee says nothing doing. McElweeney. McElweeney goes long. It's a line ball for Fianna.
Yeah, after the good start, they've just dropped off a little bit. Raheny just not keeping the ball, not protecting the ball as well as they should, and retaining possession. And it's just given Fianna an out ball because they were under pressure there. Bad tackle. There'll be a card here, surely.
David Lacey didn't like it, did he? Referee having a chat with Alan McLaughlin.
Yeah, he was thick with that Lacey. He's after losing the free as a consequence.
McLaughlin with the yellow card. And now Raheny with the possession. Powerful work by Fenton. Reid. Grenham. Grenham is followed by O'D. Grenham. Back outside. Will they get the shot away? It's Brian Howard. Brian Howard. It got held up in the breeze and might have just veered wide because of the breeze.
Unlucky from Brian Howard again. Mentioned the breeze. It is definitely having an impact kicking into that goal. Another substitute on the Fianna side. Just struggling to build that momentum that they had early in the first half, or throughout the first half, really. It's Sean Caffrey leave the field. That goal chance maybe didn't come his way, and he's maybe been thinking about it since.
Potts, Rafter. O'D shovels it on. Cooper. Tom Brennan. Doran. Cooper. Back to O'D. O'D injecting a bit of pace there. McHugh gets it under control. Could be in on goal here. McHugh takes his point. And takes a bit of a knock afterwards. He actually didn't take his point. Referee.
No, I think the referee seen it, but the umpire didn't. There was a bit of they were unhappy with that. 2 points in a row for Conor McHugh there. Did brilliant to knock the ball down and create the opportunity for him. Great ball inside. Just tapped it away from the defender. He was adamant and went over. I don't think the umpires obviously seen what happened with it. Referee did. Point is awarded.
Good refereeing, good officiating. They all just took a second, took their time and came to the right decision. Talty. Grenham. Fenton. Cooper brings him down. Cooper, who is on a yellow.
Yeah, I think that given the foul that's committed there, I think Johnny Cooper's going to find himself lucky to stay on the field here.
Let's have another look.
Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knows if Fenton gets inside him, there's potential for a goal, so he's putting a stop on it. So no, he's. No, has he spoken to him yet? I'm not quite sure.
He does have the book out.
No, I think he's done.
No, it's done, yeah.
I think he's spoken to him, marked him into the book, but I think he's ducked one there, Johnny Cooper. Definitely when Brian Fenton went round him, he knew what he was thinking in terms of opportunity, goal chance, and he didn't need to or didn't want to allow that to manifest itself. So, certainly if there's a foul given, then you have to question, is there a card due his way, and given the level of the foul. Referee didn't deem so. Johnny Cooper stays on the field. Brian Fenton probably unhappy with it, but another score for Raheny.
Owen Merchant is not moving particularly well on the end line, and we were talking about this before the game and during the game. In fact, he's one player who you'd love to see injury free because he's been very unlucky.
Is there a big 10 minutes in Raheny here to turn things round? Pressure on the kick out. First time we've probably seen that in the half.
Intercepted by Hurley. Hurley aiming. Oh, what a block that was. Getting in the way was Fiacre Potts, and Potts gets it back.
Yeah, sometimes when you have too much time, you overthink it. Maybe he did that there, but good effort from Fiacre Potts to get in front, get a block on the ball.
Tom Brennan receives. Moves it on. Follows it with a run. Just taking his time with it there. The slip allows Raheny to get it back. Here's Hurley. Fenton. Fenton going short. It's Howard. Back to Fenton. Will they get a shot away? Standing in the pocket was Hurley. They didn't go to him, but McLaughlin is trying to line one up. McLaughlin is fouled. It's a free in. And Raheny are hanging on in there.
Yeah, they are. There was a couple of chances there where you thought maybe there was opportunity to swing the boot. Obviously, we're, little removed in terms of the breeze, maybe the impact you're feeling into your face as you're heading towards the goal at the church end. But when it dropped inside, certainly there was opportunity for Alan McLaughlin. Now, he's won the free, but you wonder, did he lose the chance when he initially stepped? Referee has given an opportunity from a free. So while they haven't been at the pitch of it throughout, Raheny are managing to dig in. And maybe that's down a little bit to Fianna stepping off a bit, but certainly because Raheny have added a bit of pace to the second half. So it's an odd kind of second half, and that neither team have really decided to go at it full tilt. As a consequence, both still in the mix here as we head into the final 7-8 minutes.
And that's put over by Darren Lunny. O'Hanlon. Potts. Taking well, Aaron Byrne over the head of Potts. Now Potts receives on the underlapping run. Passed it off. The snapshot coming in from Kieran Redden, and he puts it over. Well, we did say he was a good shooter, and he proved it there.
Yeah, great score. He came out looking. He knew Potts probably didn't want to take it on, but again, brilliant run from Potts. Picked up the kick out, stayed in the move all the way up, and then fed it to Redden, who decided to take on the shot. Knocks it over the bar. I think the referee maybe was getting some counsel here in terms of how to ref a game that he's unhappy with, so he might just pop a name into the book here.
Yeah, the refs do a lot of training. They don't need to be told. I was listening to a podcast with two referees in Kilkenny today, and they were saying at inter-county level you could end up covering 12k. I can only imagine the difficulty of covering 12k while also having to take notes and keep your concentration. It's not an easy job.
No, it certainly isn't. I think there's a couple of decisions that maybe he's made calls on there that Raheny folk are starting to get a little bit annoyed about. Quick free, there was no reason not to let that carry on. There was a little bit of space inside.
McElhaney.
But again, easy to speak from up here.
Fenton loves taking on defences. And I just don't mean a defender. He loves taking on the entirety of a defence. Ball comes to McAweeney. It was thrown.
Yeah, there's so much stuff happening off the ball that obviously the referee can't see everything. He probably needs to dig out with linesmen there as well. But there was a couple of players, impacted in checked in that movement there, which ultimately ended in a throw ball and a free out to Nafina. So that Raheny have caused that Nafina backline problems. You mentioned at the outset that defensively sometimes this has been Nafina's Achilles heel, so there's still some work to do there. I know it's opening rounds, they're still trying to work out the dirty diesel. Both teams just trying to get a feel for where they're at. But certainly the second half, Raheny were far more impressive than they were in the first half, and just a couple of questions raised about, Raheny better in the second half. Couple of questions around where Nafina are at in this second half.
Conor Baxter, who's not long on, also a change for Raheny. Sean Hendrick has gone off. Ball breaks kindly for Alan McLaughlin. Fenton wants it, but it's carried out of defence by Howard. Baxter with the foul, or was that Vinnie Flynn? It was Vinnie Flynn.
Yeah, so look, if you consider the foul at the other end in terms of Johnny Cooper, it'll be interesting to see if there's a card brandished here now, because it looked like a similar type of, stop in terms of the momentum going forward. Yeah, yellow card issued, so you can understand why there was a bit of frustration earlier on in the decision. Not that you want to see guys, leaving the field on 2 yellow cards or any. But I guess it's that application that sometimes causes a little bit of frustration. And in fairness to the referee, as you rightly said, they can't see everything, can't get everything right.
Fenton got it forward to Granham. McAweeney gets it under control. Sells the dummy, gives it off to Granham. Falls into the path of Paddy Reid, who lays it off. Shot coming from Lunny. And unfortunately for Lunny, it's wide.
Yeah, they've left a few behind them, Raheny, in terms of opportunities, both from place balls and from play. They've had enough of the ball in this second half to be closer to Nafina. They're just not as clinical up front as maybe Nafina were certainly in the opening half. 111 they scored up to half time. They've only scored 4 points across this second half. Nafina. And Raheny certainly have had the chances to have the gap narrowed right down.
O'D, speaking of gaps, he loves to spot them and run through them. Follows that. Will he get it back? No, he won't. It does fall kindly from McHugh, but the ref blows the whistle.
Yeah, I think there was a hand left in just as the ball went over the top on David Quinn there. There was a hand left in. Referee spotted it. Awards a free. All the time the clock is running down on Raheny. We're heading into the last 4 minutes of the game. David Lacey in no hurry to get his foot to even close to this ball to take on the free.
Well, nothing guaranteed after the first game, but winning on the opening night is a boost. Takes a little bit of pressure off Castleknock and Lucan to come for both of these teams. Those two meeting tomorrow. And that's a wonderful, wonderful score by Lacey.
Great kick. He's, first half in particular gave an outstanding performance, but a big free to give for Lacey there. Opens out the gap, 4 points to 5. Suddenly now there's a couple of more scores needed from Raheny to get anything out of this game.
Nafina, of course, the former home of All-Ireland winning manager Kieran McGeeney.
Brian Fenton is furious and he's going to leave the free here. He feels that every time he's gone on the ball, his runs have been impacted. Cross.
And Desi Farrell, of course, also an All-Ireland winning manager. Fenton. McAweeney. Down the line it goes to McLaughlin. McAweeney.
Yeah, they've got to go at this. They're going to need at least a goal. Oh.
Now, was that high, or did he slip into a high tackle from Vinnie Flynn?
Yeah, he probably did slip into it, in fairness to him. He's unlucky, in terms of the contact. Yeah, By the letter of the law, there's a yellow card in terms of the contact on it, but I don't think there was the malice in it in terms of maybe stopping the momentum or the move. It's just the way he contacted onto the ball. But the 2 yellow cards got issued for a red. He's probably unlucky to leave the field on that basis. But yeah, by the letter of the law,
it probably doesn't look good for the player when the arm is swung. I'm not suggesting it was vicious, but there was a kind of definitive swing in the arm, not high, but I can kind of see it from the ref's point of view. Now, can Fianna, well, I was going to say hold out, but that's going a little bit over the top. 5 between them, and it remains at 5. That's a wasted opportunity for Raheny.
Yeah, the wide count hasn't been good for them second half. You get a bit of momentum there in terms of, you're up an extra player, knock this over the bar, you're back to 4, and it's just 2 scores to get something out of the game. Technically 2 scores would do it in terms of 2 goals, but they just look like they haven't, the goal they got was quite fortunate. Wouldn't be surprised looking back if it turns out to be a square ball.
Aaron Byrne keeps it in play somehow. Credit to him. Ball down the line looking for McHugh. McNamara tidies up. Free given to Raheny. I stayed quiet because I was actually trying to hear what the referee was saying to the players. It's always interesting to hear that kind of communication. I appreciate you at home couldn't hear it, but I would have passed it on. I couldn't hear it though. Here's
He said number 18 was holding number 2, and that's why he gave the free out,
okay.
Albeit that maybe the Fianna guys thought he had been lying over the ball on the ground.
Howard. I imagine players like that when it's explained to them. Well, they don't like giving away frees or being blown for frees, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's been like the last 10 minutes. The Fianna have probably created 5-6 scoring opportunities. They've taken 1. Grenham lands this. Creeped inside, I think.
Yeah,
great
4
kick
between them. Sean Grenham, who's played well tonight.
Got to push on the kick here. You can't afford to let Fianna get it out. They need a score off the kick out. Fianna seal possession here. There's probably not a huge amount of injury time to be added on by the referee.
Kilmacud, Crokes and Scary's to come, but first the conclusion of this one. Seamus Smith. Smith goes outside. Lacey. Lacey takes it on. And it goes wide.
Probably shouldn't have taken it on. They don't need another score. Just recycle it. Maybe see if you can create something a little bit easier. Appreciate he's kicked well this evening, but still no need to take it on. You hand the ball back to Raheny. They'll get a minute or 2.
McQueenie. Oh, that's a tired effort. O'D. Doran. Lacey outside. Smith. It's overcarried. It's a free to Raheny. Whatever they're doing, they need to do it quickly. McQueenie making a burst and shouting for it is Lunny. Lunny is followed all the way by David Quinn. McQueenie. McQueenie. O'D making life very, very difficult for him. Here's Brian Fenton. Fenton. Grenham. Grenham bringing it into a kinder angle, getting his shot away. And that could be that.
Yeah, players in the net but no ball. Again, great defending by Owen O'D there. Stuck into the task all the time. Managed to hold on to the possession. Great breakout from Fianna here.
Fianna with the chance to seal it. Here is Conor McHugh. McHugh, he's got 1 to beat. That's David Shapwell. McHugh puts it over.
Yeah, good enough from Conor McHugh. Half thought about do I take him on or not. Decides to knock it over the bar. Probably the right decision on it. Has had a good second half. Has added a couple of points to the board himself across the second half. 3, I think I have him down for. But again, they've laboured to this result. Fianna, they were the better side in the first half, looked to be able to cruise ahead. In fairness to Raheny, started second half way better.
Fenton. Well, they need goals. They'll go for it here. A point will have to do for now.
Yeah, so they're shouting press, but I think it's probably too little too late at this stage.
Ivers with that score for Raheny. And it could count for something when everything's totted up on the final day. We've seen it in the past, scoring difference used to decide groups. Na Fianna open their 2024 Go-Ahead Ireland Senior 1 Football Championship campaign with a 4-point win against Raheny. 117 to 113 Coleman Goggins. What did you make of it?
Yeah, look, I said at half time I thought it was going to be a difficult second half for Raheny, so credit, they came out in the second half, opened up very well. They had 3 points within the first 5 minutes, and then were probably fortunate with the goal that came just before the 40-minute mark. So inside the opening 10 minutes they had 1-3 against Raheny, and Na Fianna's 1 point. They probably had opportunity to kick on from there, left a couple of scores behind them, but from there I suppose there was a bit of a gap in quality for them. They weren't able to get those scores, and then Conor McHugh ultimately up front was probably proved the difference from Na Fianna. While they laboured in that second half, didn't have the same intensity or flow to any degree. 111 they had at half time, they finished with 117, so 6 scores in the second half. They were probably they were deserving of the victory, but that second half performance and some of the chances they gave away will probably cause Tom Gray a couple of nights sleep in terms of how he tries to correct that ahead of the next day out.
Well, never, I suppose, an overly bad thing to have the victory, but also a couple of things to work on with your team. Let's look at the highlights of the game, starting with the first half.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose Na Fianna dominated really the first half and had lots of great scores that they were able to pull together, from midfield right into their forward line. In the opening 10 minutes or 11 minutes, they had 1-5 on the board against just 2 scores for Raheny. I guess the big difference between the sides in the opening half was that little bit of pace. Na Fianna were able to get the ball up front a little bit quicker, and then had that quality when they did get there to take on these scoring opportunities, as you see from David Lacey, who had a great day up front for Na Fianna this evening. Again, these pace runners, it's very hard to try and stop this when guys are flying by at pace, and then you have the quality coming around the corner and the likes of Conor McHugh who's knocking it over the bar. So inside that first 10-11 minutes, just the chances came so easy. Again, Aaron Byrne there with the goal chance. Gavin Ivory and goals did well to get a boot on it to turn it round. David O'Hanlon, resulting 45, knocked it over the bar. But here's the goal. Great ball in from Conor McHugh, picks it up on the spin and then takes his time in order to get the goal. And at that point it's 1-5 to 2 points, and it's you're thinking Na Fianna have all the time the ability to push ahead. Managed to get another score. Aaron Byrne, brilliant again in terms of the score he created. And then they went tit for tat really in terms of scores. Na Fianna got a score, Raheny got a score. There was no real fluidity, I suppose, in some of Raheny's play in that opening half. I mentioned at half time they were probably a little bit passive in terms of their defending. It was very easy, there was too much space. Again, look at Lacey here, he's time to turn, bring it inside. There's no one trying to get near him, and it's ultimately his midfielder Brian Fenton who's getting back to try and put press on. In fairness, Raheny did dig in. They won a couple of frees that managed to keep them in the game. Again, another opportunity here in terms of a goal. I suppose when you see Brian Fenton inside you probably think point is a better option, and Conor McHugh did that, knocked it over the bar. Again, pushed on Raheny all the time, just trying to create that little bit of something up front. Point from play, that was just before the 20-minute mark, and then it was only 1 score that Raheny managed to get from there. So while wing back Dara Kennedy knocked on a score, there was only 1 further score which came from a free from Gavin Ivory to half time, and from there it was Na Fianna with David Lacey who gave a display, first from a place ball, and then he manages to get 2 great scores from play. But again, it's just cutting through where there's no press coming on the pass. Potts, who was brilliant throughout in terms of just breaking the line and popping the ball back. Lacey knocks it over the bar, but again, Owen Merchant this time just picks out a pass. Look, far too easy. You break the line, you break the defender, and there's no one really coming in to tackle. And at half time then it's 111 to 6 points. And as I said, it was a long road back then, or it certainly appeared to be for Raheny. Brilliant start to the second half. Brian Howard tacks on a score, then a free follows shortly afterwards. Knocked over the bar again there from Sean Hendrick, who's consistent enough. I guess this is where Raheny had a problem. Every time it broke out, it looked like Na Fianna were going to be able to get a score, which they did. So while it took them maybe a couple of minutes to open up their account, started the second half. And then you had this kind of half goal chance that maybe came. Ball drops for Grennan, he knocks it over the bar. And this is followed up by the goal. So if you're looking at where this starts out, probably big chance here that was left behind, and was a big swing when you think about it. He pulls the trigger there, there's a goal chance, or worse still, maybe a save. They get a ball away. And then as the ball drops in here, so there's already guys in around the square, so they're not outside in terms of when the ball is kicked. So, square ball would generally be expected there. It's not spotted. The goal is given. I think that's what Na Fianna were arguing about. In fairness to them, they regrouped. They managed to get 2 scores on the spin. Conor McHugh cuts inside, used the fist to knock this one over. He'd picked up a knock in terms just before that, but again gets inside here. Lovely touch with the hand, just knocks it into a little bit of space, drives it over the bar, although it was a bit contentious because the umpire is waving wide. Na Fianna went after the referee to say that it went over and it was awarded. So that's 47 minutes on the clock. It's 114 to 1-9, so it's a 5-point game. And then there's this foul that's made. So to me, there's yellow card issue there. Johnny Cooper already has a yellow card, so he potentially should be sent off at that point. Raheny again dig in. They cut the gap down to 4. But then you're springing someone off the bench. Kieran Redden, guy with plenty of experience, is represented at the Dublin at the top level, gets a score and just again cuts off the momentum, and then it finishes out tit for tat in terms of the scores. But at that point, the game is probably done. It didn't really look like Raheny had it in him to create a goal scoring opportunity, so they were going to need that to try and turn the game. A couple of balls dropped in. David O'Hanlon maybe at times wasn't as commanding in around the goal as maybe Na Fianna would like, but they'd probably done enough, and every time they broke out, there's space here. You need a goal. Conor McHugh's going to take on David Shabble. He doesn't. He just knocks it over the bar, wraps it up at 117, and it finishes out then just with the last score from Na Fianna substitute Ivers. Knocks it up then at a full-time score of 117, 113. But Na Fianna fully deserving of the victory. The better performance, I think, throughout, albeit the second half Tom Gray won't be overly pleased with. Raheny have a lift now. They need to get themselves ready for 2 weeks' time in terms of their second day out. And looking at that, they do need to just add a little bit more pace into what they're trying to do in order to finish out with a result.
Okay, we will be back for the second game. Kilmacud Crokes taking on Skerries Harps. That one is underway at 8:30. Remember, reaction to the first game and highlights, they will be available through the Dublin GA social media channels. For now, I will say goodbye, but we will be back on air well in time for Kilmacud Crokes against Skerries Harps. So join us for that on Dubs TV on the opening weekend of the Go Ahead Ireland Dublin Senior Football Championship for 2024.